If you're a fan of reality television, fascinated by life down south, and like to watch old-fashioned family banter, then you would love the show Chrisley Knows best. The show revolves around Georgia real estate mogul Todd Chrisley and his family as they navigate uber wealth while trying to maintain down-home American values. It premiered in March 2014 on the USA Network and has filmed 10 seasons since then. Todd has 5 biological children, the oldest 2 with his ex-wife, Teresa Terry, and the youngest 3 with his current wife, Julie, a main character on Chrisley Knows Best. The couple also has full custody of Todd's granddaughter. Todd says he's a self-made millionaire from a small rural town. With hard work, he moved into a gated neighborhood in Atlanta with several celebrity neighbors. His real estate fortune allowed his family to live in the lap of luxury. He flew to Los Angeles for haircuts and spent thousands at a time on Louis Vuitton and Saks Fifth Avenue. Their main home is 30,000 square feet, and he spends at least $300,000 per year on clothes. Even though Todd earns millions of dollars each year, the show focuses on the same problems faced by members of the American middle class. Todd's also known for being a hypochondriac and even rented a hyperbaric chamber and spent money on IV treatments to improve his health. He recorded music with his country singer friend Sarah Evans. He also started his own production company with a show on Netflix called DeMarcus Family Rules, about the basis for Rascal Flatts and his family. But behind the fancy cars and family drama is a mountain of scandal. Their lavish lifestyle, apparently funded by Todd's real estate success, was all a lie. For years, the family simply submitted false paperwork to take out bank loans. In August 2019, everything hit the fan. The Chrisleys were indicted on 12 counts of bank and wire fraud, tax evasion, and conspiracy. Officials accused them of scamming the state out of $2 million in taxes between 2008 and 2016. Prosecutors claim the couple also used their production company, 7C Production, to hide more than $1 million of reality TV income from the IRS. Todd shifted blame to an employee, Mike Braddock, alleging that Braddock forged asset and income documents without his consent. The Chrisleys turned themselves in and pleaded not guilty to the charges. The following October, the Georgia Department of Revenue cleared them of their tax evasion charge. But it wasn't over yet. It turned out that much of the family fortune didn't come from real estate, but from bank loans. According to the Department of Justice, the Chrisleys used the money to buy luxury cars, designer clothes, real estate, and travel. They filed for bankruptcy and were able to walk away from $20 million in loans. Around the same time they filed for bankruptcy, the family received 9 offers for a reality TV show. So they operated a loan-out company that received the income earned from the show and other entertainment gigs and transferred it to corporate bank accounts in Julie's name to avoid paying $500,000 in delinquent taxes. Then the family transferred bank account ownership to Todd's mother to further hide the riches from the IRS. In 2014, Julie made fake financial documents and lied to real estate agents in the hopes of securing a luxury rental home in Los Angeles. But they never paid rent, and the homeowner eventually filed an eviction lawsuit. For example, some of their loan request documents stated they had $4 million of assets at Merrill Lynch, but they didn't even have an account at the bank. Todd directed his accountant, Peter Tarantino, to commit the fraud and then had his wife use tape and glue to falsify documents. Meanwhile, according to the indictment, the Chrisleys weren't filing tax returns or paying personal income tax between 2013 and 2016. Tarantino was accused of filing 2 false corporate tax returns for the loan-out company, which claimed that the business earned no income and made no distributions in 2015 and 2016. When Julie learned of the grand jury's investigation into her family, she submitted more fake paperwork to make it look like they didn't lie to the bank when they transferred ownership to her mother-in-law. Of course, more fake paperwork just lands you in more hot water. In May 2022, Todd and Julie stood trial for wire fraud, obstruction of justice, and tax evasion. After a 3-week trial, the jury found them guilty on all counts, including 8 counts of financial fraud and 2 counts of tax evasion. Julie was also convicted on 2 additional counts of wire fraud and obstruction of justice. Tarantino was found guilty of filing false corporate tax returns on behalf of the Chrisleys. They could each be sentenced up to 30 years in prison. The network stood by their side despite the Chrisley family's legal drama. In the middle of the trial, NBC Universal announced that Chrisley Knows Best was renewed for a 10th season. Several Several spin-off shows, including Growing Up Chrisley and Love Limo, were also given the green light. Growing Up Chrisley is a spin-off featuring Chrisley's children, Chase and Savannah, as they go on a road trip from Nashville to Los Angeles to prove their independence. It premiered in April 2019 on USA Network and was renewed for its 4th season in 2022. Love Limo is a new project from the Chrisleys that will feature the family patriarch as the host of a new speed dating show set to premiere in 2023. Chrisley Knows Best is one of USA Network's most watched original series with an average of 1.8 million viewers per episode. Though karma might suggest that their show should be taken off the air, that's not how things work in reality TV. In fact, this scandal will probably boost their ratings. The Chrisleys will exploit the justice system on their show as the cameras roll while they prepare for trial. You might not be surprised to learn that much of what happens on the show is scripted. Chrisley's signature one-liners are so perfectly timed that many viewers wonder if they're organic. The answer is no, even though Mr. Chrisley says otherwise. Chrisley claims to be a son of the South whose witty remarks come naturally to him, but an inside source confessed that a crew of writers was hired in 2017 to work on the show. More than half of the dialogue is scripted, and many scenes are filmed again when they don't come out as funny as Todd wants them to be. They are so obsessed with themselves that there are now 5 spin-off series about the family, including a podcast called Chrisley Confessions, hosted by Todd and Julie. Aside from their financial and legal scandals, there's no shortage of family drama, which is why the series is so popular. Todd has strained relationships with his eldest children, Lindsay and Kyle. While Lindsay married Will Campbell in January 2012, Todd was upset that Will didn't ask for his approval beforehand. He transferred his anger to Lindsay, saying it was disrespectful. Todd was offended by the way their marriage began, and the father-daughter relationship only got worse on air. In season 5 of Chrisley Knows Best, Todd claimed that Lindsay's animosity toward the family is rooted in her anger and jealousy towards her half-sister Savannah and other half-siblings. Todd claims that it began with Savannah having more social media followers than Lindsay, and then that Lindsay wasn't getting enough time on screen. Another source of family drama is Todd's son Kyle. In November 2012, Kyle and his now ex, Angela Johnson, had a baby girl named Chloe, but after she was born, Kyle struggled with addiction. In 2013, he was arrested and charged with assault, so the court awarded the Chrisleys and Johnson shared custody of Chloe. Kyle went on the record in 2014 to claim that his father stole Chloe to improve the show's ratings and expand their demographic, being that Chloe is half black. Todd clapped back on Twitter, saying that Kyle has mental illnesses, including bipolar disorder, which he will struggle with for the rest of his life, as if these diagnoses are reason to discredit Kyle's claims. Todd gained full custody of Chloe when Johnson was arrested in 2016. She claimed Chloe as a dependent in an attempt to defraud Medicaid and food stamps. Kyle got in trouble with the law again in May 2019 when he was arrested and charged with felony possession of an illegal substance, the kind that Walter White probably cooked. Police found the stuff in his car in Oklahoma. There was also a warrant for his arrest in Georgia, making threats against an ex-girlfriend. The district attorney dropped the drug charges in Oklahoma. He was booked for the threats in Georgia and released on his own reconnaissance. In another case of family drama, Lindsay filed a police report in July 2019 claiming that Todd and his son Chase were teaming up to release a risque tape involving her. Todd fired back saying he tried to keep her extramarital relationships with Bachelorette cast members Robbie Hayes and Josh Murray a secret. He never had any intention of releasing a tape of his daughter. Murray said that he and Lindsay were friends for years and that they never intentionally made a tape. Instead, they got caught on a security camera. Meanwhile, Lindsay's attorney claims that his client is a constant target of lies, harassment, and threats from the people who are supposed to be her family. After 9 years of marriage, Lindsay announced her split from Campbell in July 2021. Todd posted a message of support for his daughter, even though he blocked her on social media. On a podcast, Lindsay said she was shocked to hear about her father's post since he still has her phone number and could have reached out to her directly. In August 2021, Todd said he didn't reach out to Lindsay about the divorce because he felt it wasn't his place. But it seems like he had no problem weighing in on Twitter. Then there are the famous allegations that Todd is attracted to other men. He embraces the rumors, saying he's flattered that men find him attractive. He and Julie got married in 1996 and have been happily married ever since. As a flamboyant, fashion-minded Elton John fan, Todd may fall into certain stereotypes, but he doesn't mind. Todd and Julie blame the false loan documents on a company employee Mark Braddock. Todd met Braddock in the early 2000s through their children's school and became good friends. Braddock worked for Todd's foreclosure management company until 2012. Chrisley's accusations of Braddock backfired on trial when Braddock said that he was hired by the Chrisleys to participate in the scam. Todd apparently asked him to create fake Microsoft Word documents to inflate income so he could take out more in loans. Chrisley's attorney claimed Braddock was obsessed with Todd and stole money from the family. Braddock cooperated with the federal government in exchange for legal immunity. He said that Todd and Julie lived well beyond their means, paying salaries for 3 housekeepers, purchasing luxury vehicles, and paying for twice monthly air travel for Todd to get his haircut at the Beverly Hills Hotel. According to Braddock, Todd needed $500,000 to $600,000 per month just to break even. The couple received at least $60 million in loans. Then, Braddock made the bombshell claim that he and Todd had a year-long intimate relationship. Before taking the stand, Braddock had to confess to his wife of over 30 years that he had had an affair with Todd. But Todd denied any relationship with Braddock. Braddock testified that Todd paid $38,000 cash to an anonymous blackmailer who threatened to expose their affair and the family's financial fraud. After Todd fired Braddock from his company, Braddock tipped off the FBI about Chrisley's financial and legal fraud. In June 2022, Todd and Julie were convicted of conspiring to defraud banks out of $30 million and evading years of taxes. He and his wife were given house arrest while they await further sentencing. But house arrest doesn't seem too bad when living in a mansion. As part of their house arrest, the Chrisleys also have location monitoring that only allows them to leave the house for work, medical appointments, and court appearances. They are required to tell their probation officers anytime they spend more than $1,000. With the show's future hanging in the balance, the network may try to pull some strings to lighten the couple's sentences and make sure they don't go to jail. At least there are 5 other spin-offs if Chrisley Knows Best doesn't work out. Click to watch one of these next videos. Let us know in the comments section who you think is the most famous person with the least amount of talent.